Hitting go live now.
Mm.
There, I've hit go live.
Mm.
We are here.
Are you sure?
Hi guys. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And you are a pretty sure kind of guy.
Generally speaking, yes.
Yeah. So I've been.
Well,
No, you go.
I was just going to say it's going to be an interesting one because, again, I think we have different definitions for what we were going for.
Yes.
Mine only came about when I was writing the description for it. So I'm like, a lot of these things are, known outside of Trek, kind of become pop culture. So my mind kind of went there.
Which I loved.
I'll clarify that as we go along.
And I was saying like doing that as a separate live because mine would not count as that really so much.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, I started day one of the get stuff organised to move stuff to make the studio space bigger to film the first of the shorts. So it was take everything out of my office that I could take out, hoover it, put it back in neater and higher, and okay, I'm not going to get to that bookshelf for the next 3 months. That's okay. I'm committing to that at this point because I need the entire room as in the studio space, all of it.
Yes.
I've got not actually as long as I could have for that, but it's exciting, Stuart.
It is exciting. And in case you guys are wondering, I just got back from cruising around the Camaro, so that's why I have my hat on. Didn't have time to fix my hair, nor do I really care. It's too long.
This episode not sponsored by
Camaro.
But if they are so inclined, I'm sure Stuart would
That's a good lead-in, actually. That's a good lead-in, because I was actually going to have that on my honorable mentions list, where Bolan is like, oh good, I'm glad I mean as much to you as a Camaro. That's a mint condition 1969 Camaro.
This is just
it was going to be on here, but
it's one of the other reasons you like Tom Paris.
Yes.
Have you met Robert Duncan?
Well, we got some super chats to start. Yes, I have. Yes.
Did you meet him when he was slightly thinner, or in his post-Trek vibe?
Oh no, more of the rough, like mountain man look. He had a really big beard. I met him.
It's like you don't want to meet Tim Russell or Garrett Wang with a full beard. Just like that's not how you looked at any point. I had one with Katie Sackhoff, Starbuck, and she had the wrong hair color, the wrong length, and weird makeup. I'm like, you don't look like anything from anything I've seen you in, and I paid money for this. Why are you bright ginger? It's not what I wanted. But hey,
poor Samuel.
Well, yeah.
Let's get to some super chats.
Okay.
For you to start, which is great.
Yes.
Ozzy throws in $10. Yellow alert, Super Captain Foley, report to the bridge. How can you have a yellow alert in space? Doc, Superior Commander is stealing the Enterprise. Federation President, skeleton hands.
No, Mark said I could. And he's the president, so it's fine.
Yep. You're just taking it for a joyride. I got you.
Got to test the new warp stabilizers.
Yeah. Sergeant Montgomery, $5. Every metaphor Bones ever said. Yes. Olivia Juliet's $5. My favorite quote, you ask, you haven't lived until you've read the Puggy plays in original Klingon. To eat or not to eat? That is not a hard question.
Oh.
And Mark Lawrence is here, $5. My favorite parody quote, done by Montalban himself. Revenge is a dish best served with pinto beans and muffins, while you sit in a chair made of rich Corinthian leather.
Why'd you have beans and muffins? That's a dessert and like a dinner bean. That's a very weird pairing. It's like steak and... Oh yeah, it's like steak and chocolate. It's like, that's not a pairing you would do normally. But okay. I guess, neither is revenge. To be fair, why are you putting revenge with muffins? Equally a silly pairing.
Matt Borman's like, I met Tim Ross when he was high as a kite. I'm sure most people have.
I met Rob Beltran when he was high.
$5. Yeah. Hashtag Camaro. Hell yeah. LOL. Feeling better here for live. Yay. So quote Picard to Q with Shakespeare in episode. Yes. I'm not Picard.
And briefly, guys, we talked about this at the end of our after we finished living yesterday. We thought about doing for the Darmok episode of TNG, actually make it a drunk live. Kind of a gentle drunk live, where There'll be a separate tagline in the thing where if you super chat a quote from the show, or even you make up a quote that sounds like it's from the show for like $5 or $10, we'll drink only for the quotes. And so you'll make Stuart read constant quotes, which will mean nothing. And like I said, you can invent them as well and make us drink. And the more we drink, the better we'll say them, I'm sure. If anyone's interested in having a drunk Darmok, because it's an odd one, and we think there's so much of that, you can just keep flooding us with quotes. What do you guys think? Would you get us drunk?
That'll be next week too, just so you guys are aware.
Yes. Yeah. I thought it was funny because I mean I'm assuming it's quite a big script of that sort of stuff. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's know what you think. Is that a good idea? Is that the best idea? And when is Stuart going to return? Return to us on this wonderful Trekyards world.
Yeah, I'm back. My internet's a piece of shit. It's always this time of fucking day. I don't understand. I mean, I shouldn't swear. We're on a live. Sorry. Hi, guys.
Yes.
Anywho. Ooh, 1,000 rubles from Mr. Eugene. Question.
Oh.
Dwarf, you're such a merry man. Ate any good comedians lately? Picard. Or, no, sorry, Q. Dwarf, you're such a merry man. Eat any good comedians lately? Picard. Not good enough for a joke. Q. Damn it, not good enough.
Huh.
Oh, not good enough for a joke, Q. Damn it, not good enough. Gotcha. I'm just dumb. Putting all the Q's in it was confusing to read. Confusing.
Yeah, so I'm going to start sharing.
Please do.
I'll let you continue to be confused.
Hey guys, so thank you so much for the super chats. If you guys want to help us out and contribute your favorite quotes, lines, whatever you think from Star Trek, by all means, please do so. It does help the channel, and we get to read them on air for you guys. So if you want to do that, please do so. Also, you can just help us out by joining the channel, the rank of commander, captain, admiral, fleet admiral, Federation president. We look forward to all those things because they're all fun, and they, get badge beside your name. You know the routine. I don't have to say it all. Patreon/Trekyards is another way to help us on a monthly basis. Or heading into the links down below. There's a lot of cool Trekyards merchandise and cool stuff that you guys can partake in, and you can also get some cool Eagle Moss ships and stuff at a discount if you use the discount code Trekyards10. So definitely check out the links in the description below, and we look forward to having you take advantage of those things. And like I said, if you want to have your favorite quote or whatever read on air here, by all means, super chat away, because we will read every super chat. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more in the regular chat that we're going to call out. This will be an interesting episode, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure Samuel and myself don't have the same lists. There's a few that I thought of afterwards that should be on the list, but they're more Trekkie-centric. Like, you need to be a Star Trek fan to really get them. A lot of the ones I did were more like stuff that has kind of leached into pop culture. But we'll talk about that when we get there. Well, that was a quick share. Damn. Good thing I was done talking.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello. Just to clarify where I came from on this, I read Stuart's comment to me as favorite Star Trek quotes, which is what is quotable Star Trek lines. It's kind of, so I was going for powerful quotes, not one line, not single word, like quotes, which may or may not be applicable as much for this, because I actually have quotes that are longer than a line because they're actually quotes that stood out to me, and I was trying to think what are interesting things that aren't just the, that mean more than just the one line, the one whatever. I try to think.
You got a lot of Picard speeches.
Well, not speeches so much, and I try to stay away from speeches per se, but just a couple. That's why my list is very much like you often disclaimer, like it's just 10 I could think of, honestly. 10 quotes that I had to think about to get most of them, but I think once I got them, the ones that stood out to me. But I mean, there's literally tens of thousands of good quotes.
Yes.
And so these are 10 that I like in an order of probably of the ones, but I'm gonna absolutely plead the Stuart on this one as. It's way less distinct and just normal.
We're gonna have fun. Like I said, when I was writing the description for the video and for Facebook, I kind of went into like things that leached over into pop culture maybe. So I'm going with more things that more people might know. But it'll be interesting because we'll have two different lists, different things to talk about. So that'll be fine.
But I do like
I have
the
no
idea
problem with that. There's a few that I wanted to add last minute, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to shuffle my list around to add them. So we will talk about those.
Well, I am using version 2, so you did actually shuffle it once.
That's because there was one thing, because I had a list and I put them all numbered, and after I was like reading the list later, I realized I had two number 5s, and I'm like, that doesn't work.
I didn't look at either list on purpose because I was trying not to. As you know, I don't do it until like 5 seconds before. So, but I did like the idea of doing like top 10 pulp culture, like Star Trek, come into the fabric of the universe, which is a whole different list. It might have similar things on it, but it'll have very, very different things on it. You know. So who wants to start on this one? Actually not, Stuart. Let's have the audience decide. Who goes first this week? So do you want Stuart to go first? Chat. Ooh, okay. First super chat, say Stuart or
First
me.
Super chat. Yep.
Ooh.
In the meantime, Justin Hampton throws in $2. Cap, check your Facebook for quote YouTube cut me. So he says, Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Oh, I know Hamlet, and what he might say with irony, I say with conviction. What a piece of work is man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty. In form and moving, how expressive and admirable. And in action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. Well, that's Shakespeare we're quoting, not Star Trek. So,
top 10 Shakespeare quotes
in Star Trek. Top 10 Shakespearean references in Star Trek. A lot of TOS episode titles were based on on Shakespeare stuff. So, damn.
Well, I think everything up to like DS9 will include stuff from Shakespeare, and then they do their own thing, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of TNG has it too.
Eric Martin, $5. Scotty to Geordie, never get drunk unless you're ready to pay for it the next day. That's true. Olivia Julius, $20. As Precious got the doors to the reactor open, she already knew what had happened to her favorite chew toy. Earlier, McPiggy sacrificed herself for the crew. Precious held her chew toy and shouted, Tot! Matt Boardman, $10. My favorite is It's Possible. I didn't realize how much I used that until somebody pointed it out to me and realized how much they say it in all the Trek series. Someone should do a super chat as well.
I didn't see. I wasn't reading it, so I looked at the quote. You were saying it's possible. I didn't realize how much I used that until someone pointed it out to me. I was like, "Where did they say that? How is this a famous quote, Matt?" And then going, "Oh, I see what you're doing." So I was very confused. I was like, "Is that a Discovery reference, Matt? Are you referencing? Are you going deep with this?"
Like 5 of mine are discoveries. So.
Goodness.
Sergeant Montgomery, $2. Commander Sam. So Sam's going first, even though Olivia puts one in for $5 and says me. Okay.
So my number 10, and I had to find pictures. I thought this was a relatively not my favorite angle. It's actually in HD, like proper HD, and that is the wrong. Wow, it's have TNG framing. My number 10 is the Engage, because while it's not necessarily a memorable line of dialogue or whatever, the fact that Patrick made a single word, which I'm assuming in the first script it was just a functional bit of dialogue, he turned it into something else. Yeah. Him through him. And there's actually lots of ways he said it in the show, lots of nuances there. And it elevated it. And then because he said engage, later shows felt the need to do their own let's go to warp. So it spawned daft things. But he did it so authentically it became a thing. And so I think that is my number 10.
Pointing right at my head.
He is! Wait, Camaro. He's like, Camaro!
That's an ad for Camaro from Patrick Stewart.
This is like one of the few frames I'm actually in a Voyager comm badge, which is ever confusing. So,
this was actually on my short list. Almost made it to the top 10. So
it's because it comes from TNG and therefore it's slightly older. Therefore most people know it, and people use it as a joke anyway. It's quite unique in its own way.
It looks like he's trying to stick his finger in my mouth. No, that's weird. Okay. Anyway, classic, and it's become a thing now. Like punch it, let's fly. I mean, Kirk never had one, ever. So, yeah, I agree. like I said, almost made my list. It's funny you said like most of yours are quotes and not one word, but then I was looking at the thumbnail you made and I'm like, that's one word. That's super memorable.
That's the most famous quote, like logistically, because it's stupid. Like it's a dumbness that resonated beyond, you know.
And it echoes in space.
Yeah, well, echoes in the minds of people. It's a line that very few people can actually do that dumbly.
Well,
But
that was
successfully.
a good acting on Shatner's part though. Like he looked enraged. Like,
but what I mean is that other actors would just say it in a way, but he committed in a way that most wouldn't do. So there's levels to that, even though it sounds silly. No, I mean I think 3 of these are one word, but that's because they are that iconic. You know, you can't not include a couple of those. So yeah. But I only guess my number 10 slot.
Very good. I like that. Good job. Well, and that'll engage me into mine, which is my number 10 is "Shut Up, Wesley," because everyone knows "Shut Up, Wesley," and it's used all the time in our live chats, and every time we're doing anything, you always see it pop up. It's always there, and it's just I think it's funny because it's kind of a hilarious smackdown on a character that nobody ended up liking really. And I think it's great. Even though he was making a very valid point in the episode, but "Shut Up, Wesley" will never be forgotten. All Trek fans know "Shut Up, Wesley."
It's a tad mean though.
It is. Oh, I even had an animated GIF. The animated GIF isn't working.
Yeah, they don't necessarily work. Yeah. It's. I've never quite appreciated it just because it's just mean and it seems out of kilter for Picard a bit. But it's early Picard dealing with early script, dealing with early character that is obnoxious. So it's all these things that don't reflect later Trek. It's a very like out of there one.
But it's so memorable. Everybody knows this one. Even non-Trek people, I find, know about it.
Well, it's also his acting. Like there's a certain magic sauce there that he had that just like sells it. That again, it's like the palm face moment. Like again, the way it's acted. There's something else there that makes it extra memorable, and Patrick had a way of doing that. That was a bit special.
Olivia Julius, $5. A fancy vocabulary does not mean you're scary. It means you have a thesaurus. That's a good one from Giorgio. So, Eric Martin, $5. TOS Spock, the renowned Tholian punctuality. TOS Kirk, steady as she goes. Yeah, he did say that a few times, but...
Oh, Stuart. How your internet doth fail sometimes. Baby, he's fighting Khan and his shield's down and he's lost communications and he's now having to, what do they say, work on a rule of 10 where 1 is 5, I don't know. They say something fun.
There I am. Ooh, I'm back.
Hello.
And Gareth Rooney, €5.
Thank you.
Where do you keep your nuclear vessels? That's a good one.
Pretty iconic.
Olivia Julius, $5. Shut up, Commander.
Aww.
See, he would never say that to anybody with a rank. That's the thing. He would never say, "Shut up, Commander."
Certainly.
Or, it's just like this little snot-nosed kid on his bridge. And if something was happening that was,
well, no one even says shut up.
Pressuring the situation.
No one even says shut up and start it, really. Like, it's not even really part of the vernacular.
Yeah.
I like how low res yours is, but you just said it was a GIF, so...
yeah.
So it's doing its own
GIF.
thing. Yes, that. Cool. Number 10. I like it. My number 9... And I have also forgotten these, so let's see what I put. My number 9 was... the Italian speech. Do you guys like Italian? No. Yes. No. Yes. No. I love Italian. And so do you.
So do you.
Yes. Just, for me, and these are all personal, that is one of the best
great.
Individual quoted, like, I guess it's a triple actor quote, but part of it was improv, part of it was the actors, part of it was a lovely two-shot. It's a oddly beautiful moment in a movie of oddly beautiful moments, and just the acting is sublime for what it is. Just at the end, Nimoy turning, saying, "Yes." It's great. It's just fantastic. It's absolutely a super solid number 9.
That is awesome. I'm glad you picked that one. That is also one of my favorite comedic moments in Trek.
Let's do it, buddy. Let's do it, buddy.
Yes, kinda. I don't know.
Hello.
There I am. What? Huh? Am I here? I don't know. Oh, there I am. Sweet. I hate that so much when I say something. It's like I just notice you're paused. It's like. Anywho. Yeah. Great. Justin Hampton, though, $5.
Hey.
Tach, pach, tach, bech. To be or not to be. Also, in Nemesis, Picard tells Data to shut up. Trying to remember. Maybe. Okay.
I don't think it's a Nemesis. Oh, it is. Yeah, with a speech. Yeah, so I think something else. Yeah, I was for some reason I was tempted to put Joy Ochu in as best quote where Kirk beams out in Star Trek 4 because I think that's just it's because the moment is so powerful.
Star Trek 3.
Yeah, and it's just fun to hear him say speak for the first time in Klingon and he's committing so strongly to it. Yeah.
All right. Well, my number 9
Ooh.
is kind of like your number 10. It is Make It So. Again, just one of those things that is now everybody's aware of it. Make It So, and it's just always delivered with the finger. It's so iconic to Picard. I think more so than Engage. And it had to be on my list. I think he definitely owned that, and he has those catchphrases which are fantastic. You wouldn't think. Well, I don't know. I'd expect catchphrases and stuff more from like Pike or Kirk than somebody as sophisticated as Picard, but it's just he makes it work so well. He makes it so, if you will. So yeah, that's definitely on the list because it's fantastic and it's used all the time. We should do a supercut of that because that'd be interesting to see how many times that's used, even by other characters. Because I think Riker says it once or twice. Make It So. So, yeah. Olivia Julius, $5. You will hive me a puggy treat. Oh, you will give me a puggy treat. You'll give me a puggy treat. You will give me a puggy treat. Precious. There you go. Thank you, Olivia.
Yes. Yeah, Make It So. I mean, again, it's something that wasn't going to be a catchphrase. He said it in such a way. But then one nice thing about characterizations with people is that if you create a sense of continuity with how they speak, then that's just his offhand response. I have offhand responses to certain things because they're just part of our thing. And so it becomes important because it's just how he speaks. I mean, who says Make It So? It's not really a normal... I mean, so it's in an old world... Old-worldy, obviously. This comes from a... Let's say Gene was 50 when he wrote these episodes, so this comes from an older guy in an older era writing vernacular from older. So we look at it now and say, well, no one says Make It So. It's such a non-natural thing, but it's based on his work, his time in the military and seeing commanders and it comes from an older era, and so it gives it its own unique flair, which makes it Star Trek, even though, you know what I mean? Which is great.
Yeah.
That's exactly a fun bonus thing. And those things kind of help. It's like I was watching, I'll tell you that when I get there. And I was looking at the character and I was like, that hair, even though it was filmed in a certain era, they didn't go full that era. And so me as a random person who didn't live in the era, I'm like, that's just weird hair. Whereas other things we looked at, we were the lady from Tasha's sister. You're like, 80s. I'm like, it looks like just a weird hairstyle. Oh. But some people, it's like some films. Hair. Yeah, some films like, well, that's just every actor feels like that era. So, but it's meant to be in 2012. It's like, well, yeah, dated it instantly. I think Star Trek is reasonably good at not dating it that way.
Yeah, generally so. But there's the odd thing, like the feathered hair sometimes is like, oh my god, that definitely says she walked off the street with that hairstyle. But anyway,
Yeah.
Paul Putter throws in
£2.
35, which is amazing. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Paul.
Very
actiony picture as well. Very, I like it.
Libby Julius, $5. Picard's retirement plan. Picard's tailor shop. Make it so. Yeah, he got a job at the Singer sewing machine factory. He's one of the managers. Just tells them to make it so.
And they're like, but how?
Super Coops.
I don't know. It's not my job. You just make it so. I'm like, okay, Captain. Yes, call me Captain. He was famous once. I'm not software. I don't know him.
Super Coops, £5.
Ooh.
Actually, that'd be better than Picard. That would be better than Picard we got. You've seen him retired working in a sewing machine factory than the sad old man that he is. Anyway, Super Coops, £5. There was a woman from Venus whose body was shaped like a Data. Data interpreted by Picard. Season 1, I think. Yes, that was season 1. Early on, too.
One of those odd jokes that actually fit surprisingly well. My number 8. No, 7. My number 7. 8?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. The Lifeform song. I won't sing it, but the Lifeform song, because just like with the Italian speech, partially improved, or at least not what they were expecting, and so the real. Now, I would love to actually heard. I know they say the story as in it was him doing it basically off kilter, just did it his own way, and so the reaction shots were all real. Although then cut. Oh, well, that's what I was thinking. But then they cut to a shot of Riker looking, and obviously the camera's not set up for a close up. So I'm wondering, they may have done it once, everyone's surprise, but then they may have filmed it a second or third time just to kind of, now everyone knows, to kind of capture it. So I'm wondering if that really was the first take, since the close up certainly wasn't. Do you know what I mean? If it was, those reactions are really the first take, or they say it's the first take, but really they did 3 first takes, because once they knew, because you could acting improv has to be really good response. But it's just a lovely moment. It is almost un Star Trek. Like, it's right on that line of being. It's like Double Dumbass on You. It's like, I mean, it's not really like it's going one step, but also tonally it's like wrong for this movie. Like, this movie is not a light movie in any way, and yeah, you're singing about life forms, but it works so great, just not in this movie. But this movie doesn't work great for me anyway. So, but yeah, just a great little makes you wish we had more.
It's a ray of sunshine. A ray of sunshine in a movie that a lot of people don't like. So there you go.
Yeah.
Olivia Julius, $5. Time for winter, make it snow. Eric Martin, $5. The best diplomat I know is a fully charged phaser bank.
Oh.
Ozzy Maderos, $5. My farm's precious little life forms. Where are you?
Okay.
Life forms.
So it wouldn't be the same if he hadn't added all these extra sound effects. Like, he needs, like, everything he does together. No, it's It is like the moment of that movie. It's that time is the thing which will burn. Kirk dying on a bridge. That's pretty much it. Those are the most iconic things you remember from that movie. And I guess maybe the hit there in horses.
Yeah.
They kind of go beyond. Oh, and Deanna crashing the ship. Like, those are the things that go beyond the movie.
Yeah. No, yeah. Again, you're picking a humorous moment, which I find interesting. I didn't necessarily think you would do that, but I think that's great. That's a fantastic one to put on here. So yeah, good job. It shows a lot about Brent and Data as well with his emotion chip. I mean, earlier in that one we had Mr. Tricorder.
It doesn't work as well.
No, it doesn't at all.
But it does lead you into this, as in you're thinking, oh God, where are we going? So there is actually some logic there. It's just a bit dumb.
Yeah. More Cat's Den, $5.
That's a cool name.
You'll have a great time, Bones. You'll be able to relax. You call this relaxing? I'm a nervous wreck.
That's good. That's good.
If I'm not careful, I end up talking to myself.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yep. Yep. Well, that's like I said, there's thousands of good quotes. Thousands of good quotes. It's a very quote-rich show.
We should do character-specific quotes.
Ooh, that's hard, but I love it.
Kirk quotes.
Yep.
Yeah. 93 people here with 50 likes. That is awesome, guys. But let's hit that like button. Get up to at least 75 likes. I think that's doable. So if you can, please do. All right. So now, moving on to my number 8.
Yes.
And that is Scotty. You cannot change the laws of physics until you can. Because he always does. Kind of. He always makes it work. Anyway, it's another one that transcends the show and is when the people that don't know Star Trek know that it's like something having to do with Star Trek generally. And if it's said with the accent and done properly, it's, you know who it is, right? So yeah, definitely one of the more memorable Star Trek lines in my opinion, and from one of the greatest characters as well. So
yeah, I think this is more of a, if you're around in TOS time, I think this one hasn't stood the test as much. Not in a negative way. I think I wouldn't have even considered this, despite knowing it quite well. Nothing to lessen the thing. Just I think it's like, you know, now there's so many from so many different characters. But that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, you know, he, just like the other ones, he commits so fully to this when he says the line. Although obviously, as we learn both in TNG and in Lower Decks, you know, buffer time is basically lying. And so when he says I can't change law of physics, he means I can.
I can bend them slightly to make this work.
But you know he's fibbing a bit just to sound impressive, which I am absolutely fine with as a concept. It's a bit stupid, but it's a fun bit stupid. No, it's good. And thank you for canhascheeseburger.com for sponsoring this picture, I guess. Right at the bottom. He had branding, Stuart. You put branding. No, it's good. Although, how many times did you say it? I can't imagine you said it more than twice. Because it's a very specific phrase.
I actually don't know, but it's like Beam Me Up, Scotty. It was never said, but everybody knows that one. This one, I think, is just one of those as well. He probably said it once.
Yeah. And
I think it just, I don't know. That's a good question. If anybody knows, let us know. Because
please do.
I don't know how many times he actually said it.
Because it's just, yeah.
But it's definitely associated with him and Trek. Like it's something you hear and you know.
And you're right. I don't think people would necessarily know if you just said you can't change all the physics. As soon as you go high-end Scottish, people's like, oh, I know that.
Yeah.
Like when you commit.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. I like it. My number 10.
Jeff Jacobs.
Oh, my number Jeff Jacobs is.
We got 3 super chats. First. Hold on.
Wow.
Okay, don't get ahead of us here. Jeff Jacobs, $2.50. Nice. Janeway, time's up. Also nice. Hashtag make Jeff
time's
pay.
Up good. Time's up good.
Eric Martin, $2.
Oh.
Risk is our business.
Who said that?
That's what the starship is all about. That's why we're aboard her. Dr. McCoy was right in pointing out it's Kirk from TOS.
From when?
It's one of the most famous speeches ever.
I can't remember which episode it's in.
When I can't remember the name of the episode.
I can't remember the context.
The globe. There's people in those little globes that inhabit the bodies of Spock, Dr. Pulaski, and Kirk, and they want to build android bodies for themselves because it survived all these centuries. And the guy in Spock goes crazy. I forget the name of the episode now. God damn it! You guys will know.
Although,
I'm surprised I don't know.
I'm supposed to. Can I shout Ed Fleming for one of my favourite lines? I didn't think of it. Yeah, don't call me tiny. That is one of my all-time favourites as well. Just the way it's done, the non-need for that joke. I would have probably been like number 14 if I had a 20. Good job, Ed. That's a top tier one.
Gareth Rooney though, €5. What? That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence. Is that a Q line? I think that's a Q quote, isn't it? Yeah, it's actually from Q Who, I think.
That's great. That's I always like the hoity-toity sciencey lines. They make me happy on the Trek inside. Excellent. My number
7
is... Yes, now this is a whole little speech. Well, I'm wondering if you can know which one it is based on the picture. It's very unhelpful, but you'll guess. I mean, don't give me the speech, but if you think you know what it is, say...
Don't give you the speech. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm waiting for the
Okay.
stream to catch up.
Tell me if you think you know which one it is.
Oh.
If you don't, that's fine. Just if you happen to know. And guys, you put in the comments if you can get. Don't actually guess, but if you think you know which speech this is, put yes or no in the comments, and then we'll ask again in a minute if you are right. Because this one for me has always stood out. And I don't remember when it. Like I don't remember any context, but I just remember the end of it. I was like, ooh, and I had to start googling, backtracking, like trying to work out what the hell it was. And I found it, which was great. So yes, this is obviously a conversation between Garak and Bashir, in season 2. And Garak says, Bashir says, "Let's have a lot of questions to ask you about your past." Garak says, "I've given you all the answers I'm capable of." Bashir, "You've given me answers all right, but they're all different. What I want to know is, out of all the stories you've told me, which ones were true? My dear doctor, they were all true. Even the lies? Especially the lies." I always remember that last line. I had to give the entire thing in context, but that is an incredibly good bit of dialogue. That is like top tier. And for me, just like if you DS9, I did so much dialogue, and that one always stands out to me as just like that summarizes the character. And very few lines can summarize an entire character. That's it, done, boom, there's Garak, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's fantastic. Because you're right. He's very duplicitous, and you don't know what's going on with him.
Well, is he though?
And even after that, it's like, I thought I knew what was going on, and now I'm just questioning myself again. You dumbass. Yeah.
Although I don't think they knew who he was even when they started writing it. To be honest, I mean they didn't know how much they were going to use him. Obviously, he was meant to be in less than he was, and they impressed him. But I would be surprised if they worked out, because he gives so many non-answers and so many like they didn't. It'd be surprising to me if they actually did say at the start he was Obsidian Order guy that got like punished. It's like that seems too basic. So I bet they had this grander like, what if, and then they had to eventually settle on one thing. But yeah. So who got that right? Who knew the quote from a single picture of Garak looking a little bit smug?
A few did. Where was it here?
You all get
especially
DS9
the lies.
points.
Ryan K said especially the lies.
Yes.
Risk is our business speech is from Return to Tomorrow, so thank you, Eric. Gareth Rooney, though, €5. There's coffee in that nebula. There is indeed.
It'd be sad if that's the line that summarizes Janeway, so I'm not going to say that, but it is funny. It shouldn't summarize
Dan,
Janeway.
It doesn't, but
yeah, it's just funny.
Dan 23, £2. Giorgio, orange, really? Ugh.
Well, we know their eyes are different to ours.
Do we? No, they're not.
You remember remember all the bad dubs they can remove? Why can't they remove that thing?
Well, it wasn't orange. First of all, it's red. So
that's what I mean. Like they were wrong in every stage. Just funny. Area
51, $5. Odo, you'd shoot a man in the back. Garak, it's the safest way.
Do you wonder how he's got alive so long? Well, I really do wish we'd had another episode with him and Oberyn Tane actually get to... I know we get the closure of he is his son at the end, but I wanted one more episode of that. Where you know what I mean? Like you spend 7 of them being what they are, but only 12 seconds before he dies of what he actually is. So I would have liked one more episode with that being blatant, but maybe I'm greedy.
No, you're not. You're just you.
Oh, bye. And that's quote number 6. You're just you.
My quote, my number 7, is the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one, which I think is actually an old proverb, Chinese proverb or something, that was just used by Spock, but it's very much associated with Spock and used many times in Trek to, make arguments both for and against. So definitely something that sums up the character, and again is very iconic for Star Trek, in my opinion. Even though I think it is an old philosophy proverb, so it works. It works.
I mean, everything in Star Trek is based on our reality, just an alternate version. So it was all going to start somewhere, and who knows? Maybe the Vulcans had it first, and whatever. And I've actually been thinking about this line quite a lot in the last year, because this line, you know, should go against lockdowns, shouldn't it? You know, if we value this proverb, and it's like all of our culture's lockdown procedures to save a few older people at the risk of millions of livelihoods, whatever. Well, Spock logically is saying one thing. How can you argue? Now, there always is argument. I'm just saying, it's just odd that if we value this statement, how can we support lockdowns? And I do to a certain extent, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like when we said the other day, when in the same episode they both say follow orders because ordering the captain is the best person ever, and the scene later saying, we officers don't follow orders. Well, which one is it then? You know,
it's both. It
it's
depends
both
on who's doing the rule breaking or following.
But I do think in this line in particular, they never follow it for the most part. It's always the needs of the few. It's always the needs of our heroes. Always the needs of this colony. You know, I mean, hey, insurrection. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. The needs of 100 trillion versus the needs of 128. Why not listen to Spock? You know, like they never follow it. Like in the case that you need to. So it's really a more flawed argument.
Well, it kind of clashes with the Prime Directive on many occasions, and that's the beauty of it. That's why it's brought up so often. Is because you can use it to justify either side of that argument. So
yeah, it's just interesting. This character who we all look up to as being one of the best, and it's a, you know, if this is his real big edict, you don't follow it most of the time. So
Gareth Rooney, €5. Come here, your regent needs you. Punch.
Yeah, that's a satisfying one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's good, and that's a good quote. Good picture too. I like it. My number is Khan. Because you couldn't have a one-word one, but the amount of ends at the end make it a whole sentence. No, I mean, this is, you know, a top-tier moment, and as such, it has to be on the list. But also, you know, like some of these other ones, it also thematically actually does a lot more than you think. And his way of doing it was, again, super unique, and I would be interested to see... I'm interested to like, took him out from the set. Like, go back in time, pull him out of the set and say, right, is that what you were deliberately going for, or did you just kind of react like an actor who lives a scene? Did that just come out? It's like when, you know, Kirk falls down on his chair when his kid's been killed. Like, that's not something that's meant to happen, but it works beautifully. And obviously they tried to do several takes and just kind of kept leaning into the fact that he falls down. I would love to know, like, was this actually his choice? Did it just feel right? Because it's such a choice, actor's choice, you know.
Oh, I want to know what he was channeling. Like, what were you imagining that was making you that angry?
Yeah.
Like, are you that good an actor that you're saying, yes, you're separated from your ship, you're probably stranded inside of an asteroid?
Buried
alive. Like, honestly, usually actors pull from something in their real life, especially for sad moments, you know, to give that emotion. So I would be interested to find out exactly what, because that is really well done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's an example of overacting also being the character, which works tremendously.
Well, even with the rage, like you see his hand shake.
Oh, yeah.
Leading up to it, it's just so good.
Well, I can imagine he wouldn't just be able to turn off in this moment. He would have to step away and, like, either finish the scene in character or take a minute, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just to whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the first take. Although I know that, and this is one of those really hard stories when you hear it, that he was actually homeless before Star Trek 1. He had a lot of problems between the movies, so I can imagine his homelessness. He lived out of his car for like 6 months, like, you know, Captain Kirk after Star Trek, because he wasn't a famous actor. He was just a guy that acted, and the movies gave him the income and the recognition to get more jobs, like bigger jobs. So you know, just channeling. I was homeless in a car, cold at 4 a.m., hadn't eaten in a day. My wife in the back seat. You know, Khan. You know, he didn't have a good couple of years, so yeah.
Yeah.
But that's true. I never considered what he was channeling. Yeah.
Well, ironically enough, my number 6 is also a Kirk moment. So my number 6 is, excuse me, what does God need with a starship? Again, it's another one that comes up time after time in our chats when we're doing a live, and it's just such a great Kirk moment. It's so TOS. It's like, just as much as people shit on Star Trek 5, it's got some good moments. This is one of them, and it's very in character for Kirk. And then even Bones' reaction, like, you don't ask the Almighty for his ID. They're on point as far as their characterizations go, I think. And this is just such a great, memorable, funny one, given the circumstances. So,
well, the fact it's also it's a beautiful concept in a Star Trek bubble, because it is an alien end of story, which is great. But also, what does God need with a open season? You can do anything you want, and so it doubles down on the joke. You can keep going, and so it actually gives itself an extra leg. And it's a weird one. It's a weird line, and it takes a good writer to think of it. This isn't a natural line to think of, how you can play this scene. But you can tell, I've had a few times when it's just like the moment, just like, oh, this is good. You write it down and you keep it. And this is one of those things.
Or maybe it was on set. Maybe it was on set, like talking about bring the starship closer, and just like, what does God need with the starship? Oh, that's funny. Let's put that in. It's one of those natural reactions almost.
Well, for whatever you want to think, Shatner did know his character. I mean, the main three did, because they're distinct characters. Yeah. Obviously, he's helping this script as director, so there's a lot of on-point Kirk stuff. I wonder why. It's like there's a lot of on-point Spock stuff for Star Trek 3. I wonder why. And 4. Well, 4. I wonder why. Like, great. That's a great one. That movie, man, it's got such a nugget of gold, but it's such a small nugget. It's like, it's a shiny, beautiful nugget.
Wow.
It's just a small nugget of brilliance inside whatever the movie is.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
But I just mean like a really gold, like really shiny gold, like top tier gold, surrounded by other stuff. Like TMP has a lot of like dull gold,
silver,
and a lot of silver. And I've actually been asked a few times how I'd remaster the VFX in this movie, because they aren't great. Wouldn't be tremendously hard though. And that's kind of. I love the fact that one of the shots is literally just projecting a ship on the window. It's like so low res.
Yeah.
But hey, it worked. And in fact, it's the only film that had a practical view screen that actually had a real projection with the new projector technology. So it is weirdly dark or weirdly not bright, but it's the only one. So the one where the guy who's least qualified to direct made a clever decision to have an interactive view screen. He made a few very interesting choices that are good. Like, ooh, yeah. I like it.
Cool. Glad you like it.
Mm-hmm. No, that's one of the better ones. My number 5 or 6?
You're number 5. Yes.
Live long and prosper. 50% of the most iconic. Turns out whatever it was. Yeah. No, this is it's one of those things that it does transcend because it's just a nice thing. I don't think it ever became a actual phrase. Like, it's still too geekily linked, but it's in the geekdom you could say it, and it means something, and it means something, and they know who you're talking to knows it means something.
And
it's just oddly sweet. It's got a certain purity of kindness and niceness to it. So yeah, I just which is lovely because the last one I said was Khan, and now I'm going live long and prosper. Very alternate vibes here, but I mean, it's just super iconic.
Yeah. No, and it's general well wishes and good being, and it encapsulates the character. Live long and prosper, you can say to anybody, and they'll immediately think of Spock. So it transcends the show itself, and that's really important. And it's such a simple and meaningful phrase. Yeah, exactly. There's no mincing words. It's just like it's a good thing. And you see it all the time. There's even a emoji for it, LLIP. So you type, you get that, and there you go. So I mean, it's gotten that far to be an emoji. So I think that's important. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we here? Naysayer puts in Naysay Never. Sorry, puts in £2. It's a fake. Assimilate this. Shut up, Leslie. Yeah, those are some good ones. Sergeant Montgomery, $5. Kirk, you do this, you'll never sit in the captain's chair again. Furthermore, Captain Styles can piss off and be resigned. I like Captain Styles. I liked his little baton. He's kind of an asshole. And he's filing his nails, like.
And that moustache.
Yes.
Goodness.
Yes. Mark Lawrence, $10. Thank you so much, Mark. 1 out of 2 comments. Thank you. Cisco, you made a military decision to protect your ship and crew, but you're a Starfleet officer, Worf. You don't put civilians at risk or even potentially at risk to save ourselves. And then Mark Lawrence puts in another $5 with the second part of that. Says, sometimes that means we lose the battle and sometimes our lives. But if you can't make that choice, then you can't wear that uniform. It's great. And then Cisco goes on to threaten the Maquis by ionizing their atmosphere.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting review when we eventually get there. That'll be
That's going to be a debate. That's going to be a topic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a deep end, and it's been left back at DS9.
Oh, yeah. Well, my number 5 is... It's fake.
Oh, my God. What are the chances? That's great. Hey.
Yeah, that's...
Well done, audience.
So, guys, you guys are great pointing stuff out, but some of them might be on the list. We need to talk about them later. So, yeah, this is another one that keeps coming up in the live chats, and that's one of the ways I gauge things. Is how popular, or even just casual Trek fans and or people that don't know the franchise. This one I don't think transcends the franchise so much, but anybody that it's a fake, and if they react to it, you like Trek, you know something about Star Trek, you're awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's again such a fantastic episode, like one of my favorite episodes of all time for Star Trek, and just it's that turning point in the episode that it's like, oh shit, this is going to go bad really quick, but it's just so memorable.
Well, it is really just the Khan scream. Let's be fair. He's holding something, he's gripping it, he's yelling, he's saying it, but rather than Khan going high, he goes, whisper.
He doesn't yell. He's like, it's a fake.
But it comes across the same.
Yeah, it's a Romulan yell, I guess.
It's a stealthy yell.
Kind of subvertively, yeah.
So no, I mean, yeah, it's again it's a joke. It is like the Khan. It's a joke. Unfortunately, it pushed into that, but you can't watch the scene and think it's serious. But that's the arrogance of this character, that he's like, yeah, no one's gonna laugh at me. I do whatever the hell I want. You know, as you get more famous, as you get more rich, these little things like people caring what they think of you doesn't matter as much because I'm the guy. Of course I am. You know. Yeah. No, definitely iconic. I do think, though, a lot of people don't watch DS9 or haven't watched DS9, so it's not quite as permeated as obviously some of these things like Live Long and Prosper. But if you love DS9, this is one of the top, like, end of discussion, you know, for DS9 especially. Yeah. Yeah, Ryan. Give me Genesis, yeah. It's Control Rage. Yeah. No, but it does help. It's one of the best episodes of DS9 anyway. That obviously doubles down on its like longevity as being you know, especially because it's one that people go back to rewatch time and time again. This moment stands out even more. So it's kind of a, you know, force a habit when you end up watching so much.
Yeah. Gareth Rooney, though, €5.
Gareth!
I fail to comprehend your indignation, sir. I have simply made the logical deduction that you are a liar.
Where was that from?
I'm trying to remember.
That's a good, interesting line. Ooh.
Sounds like Spock.
Yes, absolutely. Ah.
But I cannot remember what from. So let us know, Gareth.
Or maybe it's a Vulcan like.
Curious.
Maybe it's like the Voyager Vulcan. Because he can speak in that Vulcanese.
Yeah. Oh, let us know, Gareth. I'll be keeping an eye out for in the chat for it. So, and Eugene, 200 rubles. It's green.
Yeah.
It is.
And
actually, shit, that should have been on too.
Because that's definitely.
Oh, bloody A.
That's one that definitely went. Because
Yeah.
that's an in joke within an in joke of if you don't like the new Trek, use that. So it doubles down as being a reference and a reference to that. It's actually a poignant statement, actually, as weird as that is. Yeah, certainly. And this is actually interesting to do one of these when it was just like 5 words or less. You know, like the shortest, sweetest. You know, obviously some.
It's a TOS quote from Spock, the alternative factor. Oh yes. He's talking to the guy with the little thin beard. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, Gareth.
All right, my number 1, 2, 3, 4,
4.
5. 4. Oh. Okay. So this one, powerful to me, is of course second star to the right, straight on till morning.
Peter Pan.
Yes, from Peter. Yeah, the Peter Pan movie is my number 4 Star Trek. No, it's just again, this is the problem with quotes that mean something in the scenes they're in. You know, it's the end of a generation, it's the end of an era, it's the end of a legacy, it's the end of all these things. But it's beautiful, you know. It's beautiful and simple.
Yeah.
And it's Shatner having fun with the script, and them all having fun with the script.
And because it's linked with Peter Pan, it's the youthfulness, like because second star to the right and straight on till morning is to Neverland, where you never grow up, you never get old. So it's very symbolic in multiple ways, and it is a good send off for the original crew. So yeah, there's a lot of meaning with that one, and I think that's a fantastic one, actually. So
well, I always find
I applaud you, sir.
Thank you. Well, it always goes straight to Umbrone. It's like in the same way, shields, suit at the start.
shields.
Just the way that's done is like an iconic line to me, but it's not a line. It's him saying 2 words, so I can't include it. But for me, that's a high-end internal. Like I love that line, just the way he does it.
Yeah.
But no, truly an iconic moment. A moment of icons. You know, one of those special moments that
Not so big as her captain, I think. Should be on here too, maybe.
It's one of the things that makes you sad. What would the world have been like if they actually had restarted the movies like 5 years earlier and could have made 3 more with the original cast? You know, like imagine if they were younger starting back in. Obviously, the tech would have been different, so they would have all had different vibes. Fine, sure, but you know, because Koenig and the lower end actors that don't get as many lines, they're just happy for the payday. You know, they don't do much, and they're not. But they're like, yeah, we'll come back. You know, it's money and it's fine. Yeah. A couple of days work, couple of weeks work, whatever. And Shatner gets a massive ego trip, and Spock, Nimoy gets to kind of act his heart out because he acts his heart out, and then Doohan and McCoy are happy to be given what they're given, etc. But imagine if they'd, because I would, if they'd started 10 years younger, they could have had like a movie where each cast demands to direct it because, hey, Leonard got 2, Shatner got 1, I want to direct. And now you've got the DeForest Kelley directed, and wouldn't that be cool if each one directs a movie? Like that would have been absolutely not would have happened. Didn't want like Koenig.
It's not in anybody's wheelhouse.
No, Koenig
they don't
like
necessarily
as we
have
said,
the skill or the desire.
Yeah, Koenig said he'd never want to do that. It was never an intention. But I would love to see like Doohan and I don't know if they could have, but it would have been really cool to see.
Yeah.
Tangent. I
gotta say too, after we're done this list, there's a few that I want to mention that are honorable mentions, but they should actually really have been on the list. But I didn't want to change my list again, so
that's fair.
Keep that in mind, guys. Sean O'Sullivan, €2.
Thank you.
Tough little ship. It's a Frakes.
Wait, when was that?
It's a Frakes.
Is that from TOS or what? When was that?
Moving on. Ozymandias, $5. My God, that's a big ship. Not so big as her captain, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it helps when you invent two characters that end up just being one-line machines, like one-liner machines.
Yeah,
which is great.
I gotta say that I love that picture. I love that picture you picked because it's everybody at their station except for Sulu. Sulu's chair is damaged, but that's the original helm station where he would have been. Now he's a captain. I love the symbology of that picture. The way they framed that was amazing. So
it does make you sad Sulu's not there, but he was in the last scene with his entire crew, and like it makes sense. It's fine. It's just like, oh,
yeah.
The Sulu.
Sergeant Montgomery, $2. The right tool for the right job. I say it often. Yeah. All right. So that's your number 4, correct? Yes.
Yes.
My number 4 is there's coffee in that nebula. Which I think is a great quote, turning the resources of the nebula into something the replicator can turn into coffee because she loves coffee. It's a moment of, lightheartedness in Voyager. Like she's like happy, like I'm going to have coffee. Haven't had coffee in a while.
Yep.
I think it's great. And it does kind of encapsulate the character because she does love her coffee. She's always got a coffee in her hand. That's one of her things. So it's just such a great line. Like, we're going to turn that nebula into coffee. I think is great. So,
and even in fairness, like to the character, it's not as if she's an addict to coffee. It's like you say, she always has a cup in her hand, but she doesn't always talk about coffee. It's a thing you notice, but it's not like, look, she's an addict. It's like, no, she just has her coffee. Yeah, that's I'm sure Mulgrew.
To be fair, I think she's a coffee addict, but that's okay.
Or is it synth coffee?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I have a coffee every morning too, so sometimes 2 or 3. So,
and I have something green.
I understand the pain.
Something green every morning.
So
no, it's and it's good to see a Voyager one because it is it's one of the things you remember for Voyager because it's appropriately silly, and extremely in character, and those are two. It's like life forms, Although I think obviously she's not an android, so she can be emotive. No, that's good. Yeah. That's good. I like it. Oh my goodness.
Good. Oh, we're into our top 3 now.
Bronze, silver, and gold, Stuart. As I did say at the start, these may not actually be like my top of all time, but it's the list I thought, and I came up with. Let's see what I put as bronze. My bronze is. Yes. Everyone knows this, so I'll just say it. You're from outer space? No, I'm from Iowa. I only work in outer space. I mean, that's fantastic. Just, again, super iconic to me because it's a line you can rarely say, and he delivers it perfectly. I only work in outer space. Like, you never think that because they're always in outer space, but yeah, they have their own homeworlds, their own houses, their own childhood places. I just work in outer space. It's like, oh yeah, what do you want? Well, my family have for the last 200 years. Such a lovely line, and it just, again, total understanding of the characters and the story and what they're doing. A script rarely has that, and I love it.
Yeah, and it's like he's dispelling her worries. Like, don't tell me you're from outer space. No, I'm from Iowa. I only work in outer space. It's like, so it's kind of like that. Okay, he's not crazy. Oh shit, he's crazy. it's that nice, and just because you're from space. Or the Martian, you're called a Martian or something like that. That kind of cliche, yeah.
No, it's
a great scene actually. The whole thing.
And obviously, it's my top 10, but that's one of my top quotes because it's applicable for any character in any Star Trek in any era, apart from the Iowa bit. I just want my top all time. And
Lista Jericho sent a PayPal.
Oh, Mr. Jericho.
With $3, so thank you.
Oh, hello.
And I don't understand this one, so maybe I'm just dumb and can't remember it. But it says, "Why don't you fix it, dear fellow? Why don't you fix it before I go mad?" I don't know what that's from. So let us know, please, Mr. Jericho, because I do not know.
Yeah, you should have put ...
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Clarify.
Yeah, and this whole scene in Star Trek 4, like, say what you want about Shatner, his overacting, but he's really great in this one. And even in Star Trek 5 with the What Is God Need with the Starship, like, his character is amazing. You gotta love Kirk. And this is just it's so naturalistic. This is just him sitting there having a conversation. There's no bravado. There's nothing. It's just like, yeah, I need your help. It's kind of him not in his element, obviously. You're not exactly catching us at our best. So it works, and I think it's really good. Jack says this to Jericho. Who's Jack? Jack who? Jack Crusher? DS9, the Augment episode. Oh, yes, the Augments. Jack. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Well, that's a stupid question, Admiral Patrick. Thank you for clarifying, because I did not know. All right. My number 3.
Now, these actually, do you give a vague sense of order? Like, is this kind of your bronzy, or like, roughly, but still any kind of order? So this is one of my. This is definitely one of my top
culture,
3.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, pulp culture, mine are like top 3 kind of thing.
Okay.
But I really wanted to add 2 here that I wanted to shuffle, but I didn't want to shuffle
2.2 and 2.8.
Yes, exactly. 2A, and 2B.
But not
Anyway.
2C.
Ha! That's funny. All right, so my number 3 is he's dead, Jim.
Oh, okay.
Because, again, linked with the character. You can say he's dead Jim to anybody. It's pretty much linking with Star Trek. There was the whole I'm a doctor, not a... And that's used multiple times by McCoy. Fill in the blanks. And same with, like, other doctors throughout all of Trek.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought this one is... It didn't have any changes to it. It's just he's dead Jim. It's been said multiple times by McCoy. And, you know, it's one of those things like, beam me up, Scotty. He's dead Jim. You know, you cannot change the laws of physics. You can say these things to somebody that doesn't understand Trek, and they'll catch at least one of them and go, that's Star Trek, right? Or Star Wars, or they'll say something stupid, but they know it's something. So, yeah, he's dead Jim.
Yeah, I was wondering how often he says this one too, because I definitely don't associate this with a regular thing. I associate it with one time he said it, and everyone likes it. Whereas the I'm a doctor, that's like actually a catchphrase. This doesn't feel like that to me.
Well, this he says at least 4 or 5 times in TOS, at least.
So it became a knowing. This is a thing he says.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or he's dead. Sometimes there's no Jim on the end, but it's usually he's dead Jim, or he's dead Captain. He said that before, I think.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I can, if you spread out a little bit, I can see it more. Yeah, I mean, again, this feels like when you were a TOS boy and you were in the 60s or 70s or 80s and you're like, oh yeah, they each have 10 catchphrases, and where it's just one time or 2 times they said it, but you latch onto it. That's fine because you love the show so much, which is fine. I mean, you know, we're all a product of our era, and you're a TOS fanboy through and through, so it makes sense. But yeah, it wouldn't have occurred to me, but I exactly understand why. And this, I do feel like, I'm sure at conventions, so far as Kelly, walks out on stage, you know, he's dead, Brighton! And that's like, you know,
he's dead. In. What city am I in? London. He's dead, London.
See?
It's like the Rock in a wrestling. Finally, the Rock has come back. And then he has to say the city. It gets the crowd pumped up. But yeah.
I agree.
All right.
So are we? So did this replace I'm a Doctor, not a...
I didn't want to include I'm a Doctor, not a, because it changes the ending all the time. It's a weird one to quote because there's so many different versions of it.
Actually, I think someone said bricklayer, but what would be the one that you associate with that line? Because you're right, it's so variable.
I'm a
but it is
doctor, not a moon shuttle conductor. Yeah. And he also says if I reacted every time a light went off around here, I'd end up talking to myself, and he was talking to himself. That's like early on in TOS, and then he uses the "I'll talk to myself" thing again in Star Trek 5. That's what I mean. Star Trek V pulls the character traits of these characters right back to TOS. That's why I love Star Trek V for those things. But
yeah. Poor on story, good on those three characters.
Yeah.
Sacrifice good. But what about you guys? I really want to know, like, what are you know, what are the ones you associate with? I'm a doctor, not a.
Because that's where the red alert was going. He was giving Kirk an examination. The red alert light's going off. And Kirk finally notices. He says, "You could have told me. I'm a doctor, not a moon shuttle conductor." And then Kirk storms away and he says, if I was jumped every time a light went off around here, I'd end up talking to myself.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Doctor, not an escalator. Doctor, not a bricklayer. Yeah.
Because when I think, my brain goes kind of blank when I think of this. Not in a bad way, just like there's so many options. I'm just like,
I'm a doctor, not a doorstop.
Yes. Like that
First
one.
Contact. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's almost more the funny ones take over a little bit, like the other people's ones, and I mean even Discovery, I believe, did it as well. I think.
Probably.
Yeah, I think Colbert did it. Excellent. Okay. My number 2, Silver. What did I say? Ah, yes. History will never forget the name Enterprise. Because history will never forget the name Enterprise. It's true. It's just...
Let's make sure history never forgets the name Enterprise.
Sure. But let's forget the start of my quote. But I mean, that is just a true statement, though. You know? Yeah. There will never be, in the annals of history, people forget Star Trek and legacy it gave. You know? So that is... You know, so iconic, and again, it is in a good episode, which does help. But yeah,
except in this universe, everyone will forget because the Enterprise will be destroyed, and this line will never be. It won't be in the log that he said this. I don't know.
It's true. There is no log. It's blown up. Oh no, you see the black box will exist because it's designed to exist and anyway. Yeah, but I just think this is it's just odd that it's in such, and this is the shot. It's in such a dark environment. Doesn't feel like TNG. Doesn't look like TNG. Doesn't look like even Picard to somewhat. And the way he says it is not happy. It's upset. It's super anti Star Trek vibe when you actually watch the scene. But just take it in its pure context, it's a beautiful line. So it's odd, you know.
Yeah. But it's delivered with that Picard conviction.
Oh yeah,
like.
Well, it's the we're gonna die conviction.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Which he has.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like if the best quote of all TOS was in "Sitting on the Edge of Forever," you're like, okay, but it's in the episode that's fantastic. But it's not quite summarizes what Star Trek is in the literal sense, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 2 because I think it is just iconic.
Fantastic choice.
Thank you.
I'm going to have something to say about that in a little bit. That's not a spoiler. But anyway, guys, we have 73 likes, 113 people here. Hit that like button. Let's get to 100 likes if we can. And please, by all means, put in your thoughts about our thoughts and any other ones. If you want us to read any quotes, put them in a super chat. I'll read them.
And in fact, once we hit our number 1, put in your number 1. Let's see if there's any kind of consensus on your number 1 slot. We'll do that as an audience. Let's get to 80 likes right now. Right now! Click the like. I want to see 73 jump to 80. You can do 75. It, guys.
It's going.
I believe in you guys. Click it.
Well, we hit 75 at least. That was one of my original goals. So
yeah, just click it. It's easy. Just the like button. You click it, and that's awesome.
Moving along.
Okay.
Because we're gonna have more quotes to talk about after we've done our list.
Okay.
I think, so.
Sure.
My number 2 is "Live Long and Prosper."
Hey.
And so it exploded out of the franchise and just became such ingrained in pop culture. Again, you say it, people think automatically of Star Trek and Spock. Mm-hmm. And it's such a nice sentiment. Spock. Yeah. I already talked about it with yours, but it's just such a great sentiment. It's simple. It's to the point. It's just, it's something you can say to anybody, and it's not like you're making fun of them for being a sci-fi fan or a nerd or a geek. It's just like I wish you well. You know, so yeah.
And it's also one that is repeated throughout. You know, it's that universal quote that does exist. You know, T'Pol says it, Sarek says it, Tuvok says it. You know, this is every Vulcan says it at one point or another, which means it exists in every show, even Discovery and Picard. So it's well, maybe not in Picard, but it is that universal thing that they've whatever and you know, yeah, exactly. Yeah, lovely. So guys, now tell us your number one. We want actually to pick one. Don't comment anything that isn't the one you think is your favourite. Let's see if we can get a consensus on anybody's favourite right now, your top quote. Let's hear what you think.
It's a good time because there's a lot of live long and prospers in the chat.
Yes.
With the emojis, so.
Yeah, your number one.
We'll get to the super chats. We'll get to the super chats after we've done our top ones because I want to kind of save some of those.
Okay, but yeah, put them in now. Throw in number one. Throw them in. So we will go straight to number one then, is that? Or read some of the non-super chat ones?
You can read some of the non-super chat ones. Victory is life.
Yeah. It's quite a dark one, but
good day to die.
Well, that's true. That should be. That probably also deserves to be on a number 10 on a top 10 list.
Richards, I will be right here, Elliot. E.T.
Well, I know. I just think, how can I make a joke about that being like? Is that Garrick?
That's more Star Wars. More Star Wars.
Beam me up.
Never said so. Can't be used.
Oh, I know this back of my hand. Yeah, that's a very good one. I don't know about you, but I was finding that most of these are TOS or TOS movie, and mostly TOS movie. Like, obviously they have less script to play with, so they're gonna make it mean more. But I feel like a large.
Also got more longevity, so they've been around a lot longer. So even people that watch the new Trek are aware of them, so they're more ingrained.
That's true, and also the pressure to make each of those movies good because those were the only things that existed. Like, they were each a boom, pop culture, here you go. But you think DS9, like, you think Voyager's, like, there is, you know, but for some reason, TOS and TNG, there's a massive amount of TOS and TOS movies. I was kind of surprised, like, I was trying to be different, I was trying to think of other things, and I was like, it was hard.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Target that explosion and fire. Beware Romulans bearing gifts. Sir, it's another Enterprise.
That deserves to be up there.
That'll be one of the new ones for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that certainly deserves to be up there. Well, I don't think.
All right, so let's get to our number one.
I think it said sir though. I don't think Packler say sir, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, number one.
What's your number one?
Yes. My number one, and I went for something meaningful here because I felt like you couldn't give it to anything that was just dumb for the sake of it, you know. So my what? No.
Nothing.
Okay. So my this I think is something that transcends what it's in because it means way more than what it's in. So it's Harry Kim's famous line in Endgame. I think about everything we've been through together. Maybe it's not the destination that matters. Maybe it's the journey. And if the journey takes a little longer, so we can all do something we all believe in. I can't think of any place I'd rather be or who I'd rather be with. That could be anything in your life that really means something to you. And as a quote, they obviously meant that to be powerful, but that beats Never Forget Him Enterprise. Like, that's a good Star Trek thing, but this is like transcendent of like a life quote.
You're right.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone would expect that as a top one, but as a quote, it's just like, it's such a. I love that Kim got it as well. He was always underwritten a little bit. So yeah, it's not the destination that matters, maybe it's the journey. Life lesson. Mic drop.
Exactly. I was just going to say, like, that's deep and meaningful. And mine's not, you dumbass.
Stuart, you had 30. Of course it was deep and meaningful. I'm sure you wouldn't pick something... I'm sure there was at least a quote, not just a one word. I'm sure there's something meaningful and strong here.
You're an asshole.
Look, Stuart is a smart guy
really like yours.
With a broad spectrum of thoughts and understandings. He's going to pick something really good and really smart and really eloquent, and not overacted.
Are you ready?
Not overacted. It's a really solid, subtle moment, I'm sure.
Are you ready for my number one?
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
get my number one. All right. My number one is Fate protects fools, small children, and ships named Enterprise. And or Con. I really wanted to put that Fate protects fools, small children, and ships named Enterprise. And let's make sure history never forgets the name Enterprise. Those are the two last-minute additions I want to put on the list. I'm like, I don't want to shuffle my list. But yeah, Con is my one because Con. It's awesome. Again, overused and used in multiple situations. It just keeps cropping up, and I think it's funny. And even the quote there. What's when you really hate someone, the best thing to do is scream their name so loud that it echoes in space.
Yeah, break the intercom. That's the solution. If he has no ears, he can't kill me. Dear me.
Again, I don't think this one is as widely known. Like, you yell Con, some people might go, "You're an idiot." But
I felt this is like I felt this is the definitive because there's a great supercut of this in other media where they just yell. Like, it's in so many shows, in so many TV as a joke within a joke. This is like the one that, but it's the one that I think people do say, yeah. You know, you're not looked fondly for this joke, but everyone knows it, and this one, transcends. I think. And also, Khan's not a normal name, so like it does also like it makes you think for a second. It's like, oh yeah. That's from that Star Trek.
Yes.
That's from the Orville,
That's
right?
Star Trek. All right. Well, we got a lot of super chats we're going to read because there's some good quotes there, and
The
then
number
we'll
ones.
just have this. Yeah, and some number ones as well, and just anything else that pops into our head. Like I said, I had a list. I'll read a few of them probably.
Exciting.
Anyway, let's get into it. Ozzy
Okay.
Madero's $5.
Thank you.
My God, that's a big ship. Not so big as her captain.
Mm-hmm.
I've read that one already. Damn it, I went up too far. Sorry. Gareth Rooney, €5. A keyboard. How quaint.
Ooh, that was a good click. I was right on the money. Yeah. Like I said, the TOS movies, man, they are like a raucous array of good lines.
Yeah, definitely a gold mine as far as good stuff goes. Memnil, son of Korlak, $5. Fate protects fools, little children, and ships named Enterprise. I think I screwed it up, but it goes like that. Yeah, I think little children is correct. Riker says it, and it's not in a very good episode, but it's a damn fine line. But yeah.
And it's funny, my gut, I know you had that on your list in the top 5, I think you did. I was expecting this list as well, so I'm kind of surprised it wasn't, although it almost was. But that one I don't think has aged as well for me personally. Like, it's a bit poncy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I think Kim's is super, like, heartfelt, and that feels scripted. Like, you wouldn't say that. It's not a natural, not that every line is, but, like, even Life Forms feels like he just said it. That's not a said line. That's a scripted line.
Yeah, but I'm sure Kim's is a quote from something else. Just like something literature-wise.
Sure.
Taken it of, but yeah. All right, Matt Boardman, $5. There's an old saying, fortune favors the bold. Well, I guess we're about to find out. I thought fortune favors the foolish is the line.
No, fortune favors the bold is another one.
Eugene, 250 rubles. Garrick, my doctor. They all were true. Even the lies?
I said that.
Especially the lies.
I said that. That's good though. It stands out.
Sergeant Montgomery, $2. I'm giving her all she's got. Yeah, that's another one right up there with I cannot change the laws of physics.
Although again, how many times was that said? I can't imagine many.
Giving her all she's got probably said more than changing the laws of physics. Let's be fair.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Matt Boardman, $5. Yes, poor friend. I hear he's fruity as a nutcake.
Is what?
Remember that?
No,
He's
said again?
fruity as a nutcake. Yes,
No.
poor friend. I hear he's fruity as a nut cake.
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Oh. How many fingers am I holding up? That's not very damn funny. The hell it is.
It's Chekhov. Chekhov unconscious. Well. Oh, I feel like, what's your rank? Athro, that's another good line.
Yeah. Your sense of humor has returned. The hell it has. You're suffering from a Vulcan mind meld, Doctor. Anyway. Anton Smith, $2. Hailing frequencies open. Uhura. Yeah. That said a lot. Not just Uhura.
And the way she says it as well has a certain nuance.
Yeah. Patrick. I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name.
Hi, Patrick.
550 euros. Give me warp in the factor of 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a good one. That is a fantastic one.
But it is too much of a joke for me to be on my list, but I absolutely get why you say so.
Yeah. Gestrel, 1980, $5. And you are all astronauts in some kind of Star Trek?
Yeah.
The only time Star Trek's ever said?
Yep, took it on until 1996 to happen. Yeah, I like it.
Zango, 76, $5. I didn't mean to say that the Enterprise should be hauling garbage. I meant to say that it should be hauled away as garbage.
And again, the performance is what makes it. It could have been said flatly. The performance gave it a zest, a real... Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful.
Ooh, this is a non-super chat one, but I got to read it because I love it. Area 51, I lied. I cheated. I bribed men to cover the crimes of other men. I'm an accessory to murder, but the most damning thing of all is I think I can live with it.
Well,
I can live with it.
Well, he just opened up Spock's book called The Needs of the Many Outweigh the Needs of the Few. And he was okay with it, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Membril, son of Korlak. $5. Perhaps today is a good day to die. Prepare for ramming speed.
Again, another good moment, yeah.
Was that said in DS9?
No, First Contact.
Oh, it was DS9 after they got married, and that was their first night. Moving on. Sergeant Montgomery, $2. We have a saying on Earth. C'est la vie. Yeah.
Not bad either.
That's from Star Trek 3.
Wow.
After... Yeah.
That's the thing, Stuart. There is so damn many. When you have so damn many, you're thinking, well, okay, which ones are the best? Not that you psych yourself out, but it is a, you know, it's the pick your favourite sort of moment.
Yeah, there's way too many, because it's one of those ones where you get asked this question. It's like, I'm inevitably going to forget one that I really want to say. Because, yeah, in the moment, you're like, that's an awesome quote. I'm going to remember that one. You never do.
And also, there's
like I just watched the new Mortal Kombat, and there's a line that hopefully I'll never forget, where Kano says, "It's no skin off my ball sack," but instead of "no skin off my nose." I thought that was hilarious. I hope I never forget that one. Kano was the standout in that movie, by the way.
Good. Oh, that is. Yeah. And, yeah.
Oh. Gareth Rooney, €5. Great men don't seek power; they have power thrust upon them.
Is that Kirkline?
That's just the thing. I hate hearing a line, knowing that it's the line, but I don't know who said it.
See, it feels like a Picard line, but it's probably a Kirk line. Saying to someone on a planet who's an alien, Gareth, remind us who that is. And we're both allowed to not remember every line of dialogue in every episode of 700 episodes.
Yes. Yes, Darren, we know it's from Star Trek 3 for the Fruities and Nut Cake. They're taking him to the Federation Funny Farm. Yes, poor friend. I hear he's Fruities and Nut Cake. 2 minutes.
But don't call me Tiny. Oh, which is the...
Yep.
Nice.
Emerald, son of Korlak. There you go.
I didn't even... That's funny.
Don't get smart, Tiny.
Oh, it's annoying. I just wish we saw more of those actors, you know? They were so good in their roles.
Yeah. How can you be deaf with ears like that? Yes.
Yeah.
Your planet, welcome. I think that's my line, stranger. Oh, forgive. I here am new, but you are known being McCoy from Enterprise.
My cousin is
Message
called...
received.
My cousin Yoda is. He green and small. I big and a hairy-eared.
Message received. Available ship stands by.
Often, though...
How much?
But Trek has a habit of hiring really good actors that just really play that role. Again, that role, so memorable. And that might be good live. Top 10 memorable guest stars. Or like memorable one appearances. Because he's a pretty memorable one timer.
So Worf said that to Martok about great men don't seek power.
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember that. I remember it now.
Yeah.
I love it. Good stuff. So, Stuart, should we do 10 more likes and then call it a happy day?
Sure, 10 more likes while I read what was on the rest of my list.
Yes! So help us get to 10 likes, though, guys. 10! 10!
Captain, there be whales here. There are 4 lights. I am not a merry man. Resistance is futile. And that's pretty much it. I exaggerated with 30. Anyway.
Yes, maybe you did.
Shut up. Yeah. No, 8 more likes, guys. 8 more likes. I'm burned out.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, it's good.
The sheer fucking hubris.
No, that's true. That is a memorable line, but for all the wrong reasons.
See, yeah, this is one that we can change this even. We could do best Kirk lines or best TOS lines, best certain movie lines. You could definitely break this up to make it a lot easier. There's just so much Star Trek out there to watch. So,
although,
yeah.
Well, and this is a vaguely interesting question. But if you said Resistance is futile, would you consider that a best TNG line, or did Voyager do it better? If you had to,
I would associate with TNG.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd associate with TNG, unfortunately.
It's like, would you associate the Borg Queen with Voyager, or would you say she was the best First Contact villain or the best Voyager villain? She was in Voyager a lot more.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I think yeah.
That's kind of where the Borg went. Though.
I don't think I love the Borg and Voyager. I do.
But it contradicts everything that they said from the first QQ. It's like they don't have a sense of.
But they contradict themselves. They did that themselves in TNG from their second appearance, so it's irrelevant. They just changed their own canon instantly. So if they can change it, Voyager can update it. It's fine. And besides, they were dull in TNG. They haven't got much room to grow. Ryan K, yes, we've had a few of those. No, I'm back swing. Yes. No turning. That's an absurd comment. There could be Star Trek lines. I don't know how you would quantify those. Oh, she did. Okay, dear. Yeah. Yeah. Don't hug me. Did you hug me? SS Lollipop is pretty good too. If it was just in a non less good first season. So yeah, guys. Definitely a fully featured live with a lot of quotes. My goodness. And to reiterate, my number 1 was To the Journey The Voyager quote in Stuart's was the one in the thumbnail was Khan. My number 2 was Never Forget an Enterprise, and Stuart's was Live Long and Prosper. So pretty varied. And Stuart is doing great. Stuart is doing great. I'm just gonna hang up on him. Oh, Stuart. What a guy. Who here loves Captain Foley, eh? With him and his internet. Stuart, man, where'd you go? Stuart. Oh no. Fine, I'll break my webcam, although that means that it'll break the Skype. Hold on, right, move me down. All that just seemed for like 10 seconds, eh? Terrible. Terrible!
Internet died. So we're going to call that because we have no internet at all.
You know, for our first episode sponsored by Camaro, they didn't sponsor Good Internet, did they? Goodness.
Anyhow, don't know what happened. Something probably blew up something outside, crashed into something.
So I'll read the last super chats because Stuart actually can't. So McBell, son of Korlak, fun will now commence. Yes? Squadron course. I've always liked we learn by doing. Very fair. James McGill. Fascinating. Very classic. And the last super chat, Eugene says, last time I saw something like that, it was served on a plate.
That's from the Antedian delegates. The ones gonna blow up the con.
Yep. Yeah.
Last time something like that, sauce or something. She said too.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna reference Kern being like, you cook your food. I thought it was gonna be that reference, but goodness. All right. Well, thanks guys so much. And Mebnell says 1 or both. There you go. That's the last one to end on. We're trying to end. Stop saying things, guys. We're trying to end here. Well, good luck with the internet, Stuart. Good luck.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we'll figure this out.
and we may or may not see you tomorrow, depending on Stuart's internet.
I'm sure we'll be back tomorrow, guys. Until then, he's Commander Cocking.
He's Captain Foley. Bye.